Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you're having a great day. Hey, yeah, we know we haven't put out it's been a couple of weeks actually. Now 3 weeks, almost 4, that we haven't put a video out. But that's been due to travel, my daughter being in town with her boyfriend. We've been a couple of different places and entertaining them and just haven't had the time. So with that being said, we do have footage from Boracay, where we stayed, this beautiful 5-star resort that's brand new, that is still actually being built, island hopping, other types of activities and everything else in Boracay that'll be coming up. So we'll be including our hotel room, the resort itself, the costs, just everything. So please, if you appreciate the effort and the time and the information, the satire, whatever, please do consider hitting that thumbs up. We'd certainly appreciate it. Going in line with what we're going to talk about today, we have to say this. With any financial decision, please spend a little bit of money and get a qualified lawyer's advice. Okay? Just can't say it any other.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, 'cause I got no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Okay, so Are You Beautiful? Or actually, it's Are You Beauty? She's a Filipino blogger with a large channel. Okay, we'll put her link below. Now, we don't usually watch her. She doesn't put out information that is what we're looking for. She is, in fact, let me see if I can, So we'll put her stuff up there, and then we'll put a link below. She doesn't put out the type of information that we look for. Then that's in no way saying anything negative about her. This is no way a judgment call. The mistake that she made, what happened to her, it's not any way judgment about her as a person or her content. However, it is a perfect example of how Filipinos stab each other in the back and scam each other. It's far more common than scamming foreigners and expats, just simply by the numbers. Okay? Now, recently she put a video out. It came up in our feed. I wasn't making videos in Boracay, but I was watching some here and there. And it came up in our feed that she'd been scammed and ripped off in a land transaction. Well, guess what, folks? We've told you about this. We've told you exactly about this type of scam. We've told you how susceptible you might be to it. So there's some basics here that other people have told you, these basics, just like we have. And they all go along with building and buying land, building a home. Is a perfect example of skipping on the basics and getting scammed for that. Now, many of you, this is an issue you might find yourself facing. Many of you will be coming to the Philippines looking for that perfect Filipino, or perhaps you're already here and have found the perfect Filipina and already have met her, or perhaps it started as an online long-distance relationship, LDR. But for whatever reason, be it for her future or his future, okay, your legacy, or simply personal comfort and the future you want to build together, you decide to build a home. Now, your partner is essential in this process because there are only two ways you as a foreigner can own dirt. Land ownership and a house ownership are two different topics. We've covered these in the past. If you want us to go more into detail about it, join our live and we'll be happy to answer questions about it there. However, it seems that many, including Filipinos, often forget or ignore a few of the basics. And that's what happened to RuBeauti. So we're going to give you some examples and explain how to solve them. When you're looking to build, you may encounter several variations of the following situations. All right. And it's very common. Family land. Your partner was raised on this land. She has known it since birth. It is owned by her parents or her family, and maybe you simply cannot rely on a few things in this instance. That would be, did they even know the full truth behind the knowledge, the ownership of the land, the way it was purchased, the way it was handed down, fully, is the title fully and truly unencumbered, all right? Or is it encumbered? The nature of the encumberment. A lot of the land in the Philippines was never formally titled into its current residents' names. You have generations of families living on land that technically is not owned by them. They have, we've literally seen instances where the purchase of a land is on a 20-year-old napkin written in ink, and the makers put their mark on it. It's just not going to work, folks. Legally, it will not work. For that to stand up in a court of law is going to be a long and arduous process. Secondly, you may have multiple owners. The ownership trail, the history, the actual claim of who owns what is nearly impossible to figure or find out without a clear title. Your partner's parents say they are giving XYZ place on the land to your partner. But as soon as the foreigner gets involved, all of a sudden one of the siblings is going to claim, no, Daddy said that was going to be my spot. And now there's a problem. Finally, unethical, uneducated, and misrepresented sellers. And this happens far more often than you will think. You and your partner are looking at land. You have to be sure that the land you're looking at is actually the land you're being sold. And this is what happened to RuBeauti, or it's what she says happened. She said she was sold land, that she was shown land, shown a plot, shown the land, sold the land, and a title. However, it simply was not the land or the title that was being sold. Just an outright scam. There's no such thing as title insurance in the Philippines. There's no law that anyone other than the seller has to be honest. And when you start getting go-betweens and you start to get agents involved, that's not what happens. This happens with agents. They're being lied to, or they may know they're being lied to, but it doesn't matter. So here, how do we stop this? How do you protect yourself? What do you do? Okay. Now, here's some very simple things. First, you demand to have a complete copy of the title. You want the front and the back of the title. If it's the most recent title, which we will talk about, the back is going to list any of the encumbrance. The front is going to list the exact demarcations by GPS and the owner's names. Second, you hire your own registered, certified survey company to survey the land. On the title, it will have those exact coordinates to each boundary, each angle and twist of the land that title represents. You or your partner need to be present when that survey takes place, or somebody that you trust that survey is taking place on the land that you actually looked at. If at that point, let's say you get the survey done, everything's good, there's nothing on the back of the title, at that point, you're still not done. You need to go to the ROD, the Register of Deeds for that city or province. That's where the titles for land are kept. You ask for a copy of the title on file. All right. Does the title on file match the title you were shown? In other words, is it the same owners? Is it the same GPS coordinates? And finally, is the back clear? Does that match what you are? The owners, and is it encumbered? All of those things. A copy of the title you were given must meet the most recent, it will be the most recent title on file at the Register of Deeds. Anything short of that's a disaster. In the instance of RuBeauti, the seller needed her purchase money or some amount of that money in order to provide her with a full legal survey. In other words, the seller was willing to provide a survey, but she needed the money for the purchase to go out. So she, according to the video that I saw that RuBeauti put out, she paid for the land, and that was to include a full survey. And it wasn't until after a period of time that she figured out this is a scam. You know, when she wasn't getting the right stuff, when she wasn't getting anything back. I'll put a link to the video below. Watch it, see, because I just recently saw another one that she put out over another issue. Now, I feel bad for her. I'm not saying this to say, look, blah, 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 blah. That's not what this is about. I feel bad for anybody that gets ripped off. I'm sure the same happens in every corner on some scale that is comparable. I mean, let's be honest. We want to think it can't happen to us, but it can. And you want to think your Filipina knows everything to stop it from happening, but that's not always the case. Okay? And you can't rely on anybody but yourself and a legal system that is not going to be your friend. Now, there are a ton of other facets to land ownership and house building, and we always say get an experienced and expert advice. Another huge issue that happens routinely is access to your property. Is that road, that dirt road that gets to your property, does that go across people's land? Or is it a public right-of-way? You'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to have to pay 4 different people just to be able to get to your land. All right, to get there with get them to agree to a easement. So before the dime or a nickel or a peso crosses hands, get that survey. Make sure you know exactly what it is you're buying. Look, we hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was informative. And please do comment. Tell us if you've had experiences or know anybody that's had experiences with this issue. Thank you so much. We hope you have a great day.